I'm going to help you and show you a bunch of the attributes about Amazon. Amazon is completely free to self-publish on. And I can also talk about traditional publishing or any questions you have. But, I really do suggest self-publishing, um, at least at first, because traditional publishing can take you 2 years to find an agent, 2 more years to find a publisher, and 2 years to be published, unless you just luck out and it just happens. I was on a workshop 2 days ago, and they had Neil Donald Walsh on, and it turns out his story was so great. He was self-published, and I mean he wasn't self-published. What I'm saying is, sorry, he was homeless, and he had lost his job. He lived in the street for a year, which I was so surprised to hear, and he ended up finally getting a meager apartment, and he sat there not knowing what to do. He didn't have a job. So he took out these yellow notepads and he got really angry at God. So he wrote God an angry letter. And then God told him, or a voice came or something and said, keep writing these letters. So he did, and he filled like 3 or 6, I can't remember, yellow pads. And then someone found him and said, they would want to publish his book, and the rest is history. Now he's written 40 books. So you never know what will happen to you. Just write it and then put it out. That's probably the main thing to do. So anyway, it's exciting what can happen. We don't know. We don't know who will want our book. And even if you self-publish, The Martian was self-published, but he had sold like millions of copies by accident. I don't know how he did it. And he finally got taken on by a traditional publishing company, and then they wanted to make the movie, and the rest is history. So you never know. It's just good to write it, get it out, put it out. Now on Amazon, I want to show, because there's a front page and a back page. At the front page of Amazon, this is where people get confused, is where you buy your stuff. You buy books, you buy face cream, whatever you're buying. That's the front page of Amazon. And they give you a website. They give you a complete web page. It's like amazing. And the back page of Amazon is called KDP, Kindle Direct Publishing, which actually publishes your ebook, your paperback, your hardcover, and I also have done my audiobook. You can do your audiobook there. So it doesn't really just mean Kindle. It's I don't know why they call it that. It's a bad name. It confuses people. And so the back page is where you build the front page. It's like a website, but they just give you a form. You just fill it out. Super easy. And here's the thing that confuses everyone. The front page where you buy things and the back page where you load your books is the same password. Yeah, so think about that. And that confuses a lot of people that I teach and work with. So I'm going to show you the front page first to show you all the attributes that we launched this week. We're doing the real launch on Friday. And it's a wonderful book. If you want to buy it and support us, that'd be great. It's usually $35, but for some reason, Amazon put it down to $22.78, which I'm really glad about, because now all of the contributors can buy it. And we have like 15 contributors, and here's the back cover with them on it. And it's just a beautiful cover, and it has so many amazing recipes. The woman who put this book together, Susan Govia, she asked me to put it together for her. I've been in her goddess group for 10 years. We meet and we have these potlucks of the most amazing food. Everybody makes gourmet, and sometimes she just cooks for us. She'll cook like 10, 20 things and put it out. And so she's amazing. So if you want to support us, that'd be great to get the book today. You won't believe the recipes. A lot of them are gluten-free. There's a lot of organic. There's some face creams. There's just it's eclectic. It's an eclectic book. So we kind of gave a free for all for everyone to have 12 pages in the book, and so you might enjoy that. But anyway, I want to show you how it works. So up here, they give you your title and your subtitle. Now, a title and a cover, I've heard from one of my mentors, is a business decision. especially your cover. Everyone who sees this cover flips out and loves it. Oh, mute yourself, everybody. Okay, and so then, uh, and your subtitle is important. So if your title is esoteric, then make your subtitle an explainer. And not every book, I think a lot of novels don't have subtitles, so I don't know which one a lot of you are doing. But anyway, so first of all, they give you this beautiful picture of your book right next to your title. And then they say, when was your book uh, published? Look, we were published October 8th. Now, if you're doing an anthology, most people don't know this, but there's a place when you're loading your book in KDP in the back end where you can list 10 of the authors, including yourself. And then I always end up listing the authors with the most books or the most clout. And in this book, our foreword was written by Eddie Brill, who used to open the Tonight Show as a comedian or one of those shows. And he's flying out from New York for our on Friday. So he's amazing. And so we had him write the foreword. That's another trick. Get someone who's famous or semi-famous or has a lot of books to write your foreword. And that way you're connected to their books and it sells more books for you. It's really an exciting thing to do. And a lot of people don't know that. I was just in a workshop with Corey yesterday, and he said the exact same thing. He said, get someone famous or with a lot of books to write your foreword, and that will really help you promote your book. And so they give you that if you're doing that. Otherwise, it's just your name right here. And then they say, oh, we got the paperback. Now, as soon as we get the ebook up, it'll be here, the audiobook and the hardcover. They'll all be here in a line for people to buy. And then they give you a place to do a description. Now, here's the secret to descriptions. Most descriptions, there's a little more on here if it was longer. And most people will only read the first 3 to 5 sentences. So make sure you put all your trigger words and your most important information in the first 3 to 5 sentences. And it's like Facebook. Keep your posts short because nobody will click more, hardly anyone on the planet. So then it comes down here and they give you a whole line. It's 190 pages. It's in English. It was printed here. Here's how big the book is. We did, because it was a cookbook, we did 8 by 10. Industry standard for most books is 6 by 9. And then down here, they give you a place to put your picture and your bio again, and your bio. So they give you 2 places to do that. But first of all, we're up here and they give you a sample. Let's have a sample of the book. This is amazing attribute. I think Amazon gives us so much that I am one of their best. I sing their praises all the time. So here it is. Here's a copyright page, our dedication, our table of contents. Now, to see how you want your table of contents to look, because when you self-publish, every single decision is up to you. So when you see, when you say, how do I want my table of contents to do? Go get all the books off your shelf, 10 books, and open them up and see how other people did the table of contents. And then that way, you can see what you like and what you want. Where did they put the page numbers? What are their covers like? And a great way to research covers is to go to Amazon, look in books in your genre and titles and get ideas how you want your book to look, and then send it to a cover maker, maybe on Fiverr with 2 R's. We have a great cover maker now, $45. And I paid $500 for this book, my grandmother's book. From Cowgirl to Congress, because I didn't know about Fiverr way back then. And so $45 for beautiful covers. I'm having all my clients do it. And then you go down and you see, well, what do you want your chapter title to look like? Where's your page numbers of this long book? Here's Eddie Brill and our foreword from him. And he put in his family's recipe, a creamsicle smoothie. It looks yummy. I'm going to try every recipe in this book. I'm so excited. Here's Susan Govia, the head goddess. She's the most lovely person, and everybody loves her. She has like 800 members in her goddess company, and she's just amazing person. And here's a story someone wrote in the newspaper about her. We put in, and then our person who designed the book put these beautiful collages together of of things that were done. And then when you're doing like an anthology or in one, we do a picture and a bio, and then we start their first page. And so, and when here's the thing though, we did color on these, and this book is super expensive. It's $17 for us to buy author copies. That is another one of the most amazing attributes of Amazon, is they let you buy author copies at price. This book, my grandmother's book, is $4.50. I can buy as many of these as I want, and the best way to sell them is I go speak to women's groups, and almost everyone there feels obligated to buy my book. So I sell a lot of books when I speak there. I just spoke at a luncheon with 40 women. They all bought the book. So that is a great thing about Amazon, is they let you buy the books at cost. So, but when we put the color pictures into the cookbook, the price went up to $17. We can't believe it. But now it's $22. And so buying it now with no shipping on Prime actually is cheaper than us buying it at cost. So we did a lot of those, and they come sooner. So we have these little tricks. And so anyway, let's see, where am I? Am I here? Yeah. So I'm here still inside the book. Oh, did I show you inside the book, or did I undo that? This is inside the book. I hope I showed you that. Anyway, and so they give you these samples. Now, if your book is super short, there won't be any sample pages. If it's medium, there'll be like 5. If it's a long book like this, there'll be like 12 or 20 sample pages. So here's the trick. You want to put, if you can, your best chapter, your most important things in the beginning of the book, because that might help people want to buy the book if they see that the first chapter is really interesting and good. And so then down here, they give us all the details again. Here's our ISBN number. Now, ISBN numbers with Amazon, here's the thing. You might want to take notes on this. If you aren't going to sell the book on your website or on other online sites, Amazon will give you a free ISBN. That still means you can sell the book on your website. You would just put the Amazon link on for selling it. And Amazon is pretty generous. They give us 1/3 of the sales price. That's pretty good, because if you go traditional, you might make $1 or $2 a book. I make $6 a book on this book right here. But then again, if you go traditional, you might sell more books. So it just, you have to weigh all that out. And so that ISBN number. Now, if you want your own ISBN numbers, which I do suggest if you're going to do more than one book, is to go to Bowker, Bowker, Bowker in the USA. If you're in, I think it's Canada, England, and Europe, then it's called either Nielsen or Nelson. I think it's Nielsen. And that's where you buy your numbers. Now with Bowker, we buy our numbers 10 for about $200. And because you need one for your hardcover and your paperback, but you don't need one for your ebook. I don't think you need one for your audiobook either, but we shouldn't even talk about audiobooks till you get your book up. Audiobooks can be completely free to publish. Don't let people tell you they're not. I have a tutorial on my YouTube. It's just Mila Johansen, my YouTube. I taught it at a book club I'm in, and we recorded it. So it's a very relaxed hour class about publishing your audiobook. And so then you only need you need 2 ISBNs. If you're only going to do the paperback and not the hardcover, which I always say do everything. The reason to do everything is it's real estate. And you might as well do everything, because you might sell 1 book there, 3 books there, 20 books there. So do it all, in my opinion. And of course, you don't have to. When you're self-publishing, every single thing is up to you. I work with plenty of clients, and I always say to them, Everything I'm telling you is only a suggestion. You don't have to do anything I'm telling you. Of course, if you do, you'll be a success, but other than that, our book, right off the bat, look at this, made it into the top 100 bestsellers. When you're doing your when you're doing your um, categories, you want to pick at least one obscure one, which look at this, Latin American cooking, food and wine. That's obscure. So we'll stay there maybe forever. It's very hard to make your paperback a bestseller in the beginning. It just is. And if you get there, you're doing really, really well. The one, the seasonal cooking, which is a more popular subject, we were in there for a week. We've been in there till yesterday or so. So this is really good. Now watch this. We go down here and we go to Latin American cooking, and it says bestsellers. And if I go all the way down to 44, it shows our picture. We were number 11 earlier. So we are right up there in the top one. And then I take a screenshot. So I remember that. Where's my book? Ah, it's not, there it is. Oh, it must have just went down in the last few minutes. 49. There's the book here in the very top. So I took, where I could put Amazon bestsellers, and I took a screenshot. And then on your desktop, open a file and keep all your screenshots in there. All of my books have become bestsellers because I really know how to get it done. And I have a file with like 50 or 100 screenshots in it because I take one for everything that happens. So now we go back, and there we are with our categories. So categories have just changed. In June, Amazon made a lot of changes. So some of the things I tell you will have changed, and they keep changing it. And so most of it will hold true. One great thing about Amazon, this is one of the best attributes of them, they call you back. You go, once you join KDP, no, you might want to make a note of this. Then you go into community. There's four things at the top: bookshelf, report, community, marketing. In community, then you go to KDP University, and that's the reason to join early, because in KDP University, they have tons of tutorials and templates. You can get templates to type your book right into or dump your book right into. I was working with another woman, and she had a master's from her college days, and it was really a great one about Dennis. Oh. Hey, Dennis, I don't think I can talk right now. Is that okay? Okay. Okay, bye. Anyway, that's Dennis having trouble getting on. So, uh, wait, what was I saying? Um,
KDP templates.
oh, yes, yes. So she took her whole master's thesis. We were together at our library. She lived in my town, lives in my town. And we took her thesis, and in 5 minutes, we dumped it into a template, and she had a book. She would just have to go through and maybe reformat a little. So that's something you can do. At the workshop I'm teaching on Friday, I'm actually giving out a template. But I also, so the reason to join KDP early, my mentor, I have been traditionally published, and when I was publishing my grandmother's book, I had a woman helping me who was a whiz, and she said, join KDP now, even though you're not publishing for 6 months or a year. And I went, oh, okay. So I joined. Then I could take the tutorials and get the templates and all kinds of other attributes. So join now. You will have to join with a debit card because they want to know where to pay you later. You can't join without that. But I always suggest everyone to join now, and then you can get the templates. Now, when you get the templates, I'll show you that actually on the back end. So we're still on the front end, showing all the attributes. Now we're down here, and they give you another place for your picture. So this person didn't know how to get their picture in yet. We teach that in the anthology. But here's Susan's, here's mine, and here's Gail's. And we're going to get all 15 people in here. But when it's your book, it will just be your picture and your bio. But you get your picture and bio in two places, here and up at the top where we saw it before. And then we come on down here to reviews. Now, reviews, we haven't got any yet because no one received their books. You can only have, now this is really important, a verified review if the person actually buys a book, not an author copy, but a real book. So we always ask our contributors in anthologies, excuse me, to buy a book, even though they're in the book, and then leave a verified review. I don't think we can leave one for ourselves, but contributors can. And so once you get your reviews, it's really going to help your algorithms and people discover you. My grandmother's book has like 62 or 69. It went really, really well. Once you get to 20, if you can get 20, beg, borrow, steal. Ask everyone you know. And don't ever be embarrassed to tell everyone, I wrote a book, buy my book. Everybody buy my book. Just really shout it to the world and almost demand that they buy your book. In the end, probably 1/3 of my friends bought my book, but they were so excited that I had written a book, and most of them haven't. So it's still like a new wonderful thing, a mystery that you've written a book. So ask everyone to do it and ask everyone to buy the book, even your family, even people you're going to give it to, so they can leave a verified review. Here, I'm going to go back to now. The easiest way to get to yourself is just put your name in. Go to Amazon Books. It's much easier than just putting in Amazon Books. Then I put Mila Johansen, and then all of my books show up. I have like 14, and they go here and go more, 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 and then right here my grandmother's book. Here it is as a Audible book. But when you go here, you can see how many reviews I got, and I was really fortunate because I don't 62 global ratings. I just heard on a summit I was in yesterday that when you get 1,000 reviews, which you'd have to be pretty famous to get that, your book will never stop selling. It will sell daily, and you will always be making money on it. Then here they put words that people have used to search for my book. And most of my reviews are really, really good. It was a family member who left me the one little percentage. and then here's the reviews. And you can see this says verified purchase right down here. Verified purchase. Verified purchase. Verified purchase. So that's really, really important that you do that. And this is the audiobook. I just wanted to show you what a great thing is. You can pay $2,000 to $5,000 to have a professional read it through ACX. ACX is the Amazon sister that does the audiobooks. And you can just get right into it through KDP. And so I auditioned someone, and you can pay $2,000 to $5,000, or you can audition people and get someone to read it who will take half of the profits. And audiobooks are selling pretty well right now because, like me, I'm driving in and out of town, and all I do is listen to audiobooks. Then I always have to buy the book because I want to see how they designed it and what they did. But anyway, I just want to show you the sample really fast. This is the woman I picked to read my grandmother. I knew my grandmother in her 90s. She taught Eleanor Roosevelt public speaking, and she took me along when she spoke in Hollywood with Gloria Steinem, Marlo Thomas, and Jane Fonda all the time. So I didn't know her when she was young, but I tried to pick a voice that sounded like she was in her 60s because my grandmother had quite an amazing career.
Immediately upon arrival to Washington, D.C. in 1916, I became involved in the women's suffrage movement, which at that time was working to get a resolution through the U.S. Senate. In Boston, I had attended a lot of meetings on suffrage and birth control. Margaret Sanger often came up to Boston and lectured because they had a very bad law in Massachusetts and no information on birth control. I also went several times to hear Mrs. Pankhurst lecture when she came from England. I attended all the big suffrage meetings.
And then she met Alice Paul and had lunch at her house every day across from the White House. And my grandmother became the first woman lobbyist, the lobbyist for the movement. So anyway, that just gives you a sample of how that is. Now here's my paperback. Oh, look at my paperback. They have my price is 17.95, which is a pretty price. Try not to go above that with your books unless it's the people are going to buy. Like I'm right now writing my book about how to do anthologies. That won't be for everyone. So I'm going to charge $33 for that book. I would never do that with the regular book. 17.95 is a pretty price for a longer book. And some people are doing 19.95. You just won't sell as many books. It's just been like a proven number. And look, they put my book down to 1126 because it's stalled now after 3 years. Oh, and you really know when you've arrived when, right down here, 4 used books and 2 collectible. That is so funny. 4 used books. So when your book becomes a used book, you've arrived. And so then I have down here, and I put my trigger words right in here. An eyewitness account of Jessie Haver Butler, suffragists on the front lines of women's movement, Alice Paul, Carrie Chapman Catt. Then down here, George Bernard Shaw, she was his speaking partner in London, Eleanor Roosevelt, Gloria Steinem, and Marlo Thomas. And what you might really be interested in is that she put together the Pulitzer School of Journalism as her second job out of Smith College. She grew up in a terrible, tragic childhood in when a teacher saw how that she put together the Pulitzer School of Journalism, which is amazing, if you think about that. So here it is, 300 pages down here. We have all the information. Whenever I do a sale, it goes to number one. So we have Kindle, audio, and paperback, which is so cheap right now. I can't believe it. This is your story of winning the right to vote. You want to grab it today. And so, and then they used to let us, and I'm not sure if they do anymore, they used to let us put in videos. And so I made this professional one in a class I took at a college. As I headed out the door with my ballot, I was reminded of the courage of my grandmother on the front lines of the suffrage movement. I've listened to my grandmother's stories since I was a toddler. Those first tales were amazing ones about animals that lived on the Colorado. Anyway, you can see it later. Then you make little ones, and you can make these for YouTube too. About my book, where I just 5 minutes talking on Mila Johansen Zoom. Here with another story about my famous suffragette grandmother from our new book, From Cowgirl to Congress. I made it when it was new. But anyway, you can make those and put them on YouTube. And we used to be able to put them here. And in June, they took all that away from us. So anyway, but they said they wouldn't take ours down that were already up. So that was another great attribute that we used to have. Then here comes my bio down here. Now remember to put all your trigger words in here. And then I made up a thing of putting my website in here. And I'm not sure they're allowing that anymore. But anyway, I'm just things to do. And then all of the reviews. So that's just a lot of things they have. Does anyone have any questions about any of the front end of Amazon before we move towards the back end? So I just can't say enough of what. Oh, I hope you can hear us, Dennis. I just can't say enough of what Amazon offers us. Oh, good. And how easy it is to publish on there. And I think, like a lot of my clients want me to hold their hand and take them through the process, but you can figure it out yourself too. I've had a couple clients figure it out for themselves, which I was really, really impressed with. And just load your books, and it's a little trickier when you come to the ebook. You have to do some different things, like they don't want page numbers and stuff. But here is a book that she wrote. She's going to be a series, and she's going to make the band a different color for each series of the book she's doing. And oh, hi Jean, I'm glad Jean is here. And so this is a really, really great book because her kids went to college and came out with $20,000 each to spend on life after they got into huge colleges for, hundreds of thousands of dollars. And this book here is a short book. This is my book, 101 Surprising Tips. I sent it all to your email. Oh, I wanted to tell you part of the housekeeping is we had trouble with those. The link somehow went bad. And so I sent the actual book to your email. Yeah, thanks for telling me you got it. And this book really does just basically scratch the surface, but it has so many good tips in it for you. And so you can just look up the subject like, oh, do I want to do a blog? To blog or not to blog? It's one of my chapter titles. And then, I have in here early readings. Read before your book's ready. And to be on podcasts and speaking gigs, you don't have to have a book. You already know your material. So they're looking for your knowledge more than your book anyway. Once you have a book, then oh yeah, it's a flight. So this book I made into a PDF and I gave away. I When COVID hit, I had to reinvent myself, and I didn't know anything about Zoom or being on summits or podcasts, and they all want a gift, right? So I wrote this book in a class I teach called Write Your Short Book in a Day, and I put it up as a PDF and I gave away 5,000 copies and built my email list. I had no idea about email lists. I mean, I had like, okay, 50 or 100 of my friends, but I built a huge email list to 5,000, 7,000 by giving away this book. Then I printed it, and it's a short book, 70 pages. The shortest book you can put on Amazon is 36 pages with a spine. You want to have a spine. You can have a shorter book. And so then if you want your name on the spine and the title of your book, that's 98 pages. That's when it gets enough space to do that. But a lot of people are opting to write the comfortable 120, 235 page book. And then longer books are more like 200, 300 pages. We're not doing missionary anymore unless you're doing sci-fi. We're not doing 500-page books. So what I'm teaching a lot of people to do is write your short book first, 36 pages, then give it away, use it to get your name out there and show expertise, and then use it for the outline for your longer book, 98 pages, 125 pages, 200 pages. And if you do each of those sections, you'll have 5 books when you're done. And books on Amazon beget books, and they beget sales. So it's just something to think about as if you are doing ever a nonfiction book. If you're doing a novel, that's a whole nother thing, and you might want to think of a series in that. So that's a great way to go. So that's just, and then I want to tell you that for self-publishing, you may want to write this down. They said if you take handwritten notes, they did a Harvard study that you retain the information more. So I sometimes take them in Drive for a class I'm in or a summit, and then or if I do handwritten notes, I really do remember it better. In some classes in universities now, they're not allowing laptops anymore for that reason, which I think is very, very interesting. But anyway, so sorry, I lost my thought on that. Oh yeah, my publishing formula. And I think it really, really works because you want to get, this is the main thing. When I did my grandmother's book, I really wanted to get that book into everyone's hands that I knew and onto their bookshelves. A lot of people are going to tell you to publish the ebook first. Don't. Those are people who are very famous. They're going to use their 20,000 email list, get 6,000 people to sign up. You get 1/3 of it, and they're going to make $2,000 right off the bat or more. So they're telling you that because that's their formula. But us who don't have those huge email lists, I always say, let's publish the paperback first, along with the hardcover now, because Amazon just gave us hardcovers 2 years ago. We couldn't do them when I first did my grandmother's book, so it's not a hardcover yet. And so do your paperback and your hardcover, and then have a book launch, maybe on Zoom, maybe one in person too at your bookstore, and this is where you're going to sell the most books. And people who can't come to the book launch, tell them everyone buy this book on this day. Like ours is Friday the 20th. I have a few extra people doing it now because we're doing a slow burn and we're staying up in the top 100 for over a week now. And But then you have your book launch. You try to get everyone to buy the book on the same day. So ours is Friday the 20th. And that way you might even get into the top 100. You might even get number one bestseller, which gives you tremendous clout. It's something you can put a seal on the cover later. You can do all sorts of things. And so I say, then you wait 3 weeks because you want those sales to trickle in, and because that's where you're going to make your initial money. And I think that's another aspect. It's not enough to pay for your whole doing your book, but it will be enough to pay for the editor or something big, you know. And I always say, make sure that you get your book professionally edited. So then you're publishing your book. You wait 3 weeks, then you put up the ebook, and then after you put up the ebook, this is tricky. You have to wait. You put it into KDP Select because you can't do a sale unless it's in KDP Select. You don't have to be in KDP Select forever. It rolls over every 3 months. You can get out. But I would get it into KDP Select, and it has to be in KDP Select for 1 month before you can do a sale. And then in my book, at the very end, I have a thing called Fussy Librarian, and that's one of the newsletters I put it into. The first time I did my grandmother's book on Fussy Librarian in a ebook sale on KDP, I gave away 1,500 copies. But you do. These are people who are never going to hear about your book, who were never going to buy your book. And now they're talking about your book and they're reading your book. And I have one man in my writers group, which I would love for you to join, Dennis, because it's in this town. And you know what he does? He does the most amazing thing. He has a series of 10 books. He mainly sells the ebook, and he makes all his money off people reading the pages. You get 1/3 of a cent for every page read. And most people don't know that. And he makes his whole living off the people reading it. So it's kind of a side thing too that goes on. I learn so much from everyone I meet, little tricks and hacks that even I don't know. Um, and so that's my formula: is do your paperback, hardcover, wait 3 weeks, put up your ebook, and then once it's in KDP Select for a month, do another launch and say to people, even though you bought my book, buy the ebook too for 99 cents. You're going to do the 99 countdown sale. And that is an amazing sale because it goes for 7 days. And by the end of it, people are still buying your book, but it goes up to full price again. And I know it's a little tricky, but people, you actually make money on that one too. And then you wait another 2 months till you roll over to the next section and you do the free giveaway. My colleague in my writers group of 4, we all helped each other publish. The first time she gave away her book, she gave away over 2,000. And her book had totally stalled. It had been out for 4 years, and it put new life into it. And now that I have 14 books up, every time I do a free giveaway, I actually sell other books. And there's one woman who's my mentor. I love her. Alessandra Torre, she's amazing. I think it's Alessandra Torre. She does IngersCon, and she's someone to hook up with because she'll give you all these free workshops. And she does Fussy Librarian, Fussy Librarian. And every time she does Fussy Librarian, she makes $5,000 because she has a series and people buy her other books. But she's sort of a famous person because she was traditionally published, and then um, she went to self-publishing because she decided she can make more money now that she had made her name. So anyway, we won't all make that money, but these are different things that add up and do that. Are there any questions about any of that before I go on to the back end of, yeah, unmute, Julie. Unmute. Julie, unmute. I'll ask her to unmute.
Hi, she's just about there. Just about, she's getting it. It's almost, she's coming. So she believes she's going to log in right now and we'll have internet. And so we've got fingers crossed, but she's pretty sure it's all going to work.
Yay. And just for any of you who joined a little later, Lisa's had trouble with the internet, which I often have on my ranch. So I understand that completely. But we did do the front end and showed you all the attributes of the front end of KDP. And if she doesn't come on, we'll move to the back end, but we'll see what's going on. So I do suggest everyone join KDP now. It won't do anything but give you attributes and tutorials and templates to look at. So, and let's see. So in chat, we everybody put in some of their genres and what they're doing. And here's my new training coming up on Friday, just for anybody who rejoined. I'm going to be teaching for Dr. L in his big group how easy it is to publish your books and maybe how to use material you already have written, and I'll be giving templates out. It's going to be an hour and a half workshop, and it's a great group to be part of. So